Hey guys, Horror Man back for another review. So today we're going to take a look at the Terminator 2 Judgment Day T-1000 Motorcycle Cop Ultimate Figure. Now this is made by NECA Toys and it came out a few months ago. Now just like a lot of the Ultimate figures, this is basically a retooled version of the original version that they released several years ago. It's going to come in this awesome packaging like we've seen all the other Ultimates in. See this really cool picture from the movie on the front. Same picture on the side with the NECA logo and Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Same thing on the other side. And then on the back you could see a good picture of the figure. I actually see one big one and then a couple different ones highlighting some of the different accessories included. Now if you want to go ahead and pause it, you could take a look at this bio of Terminator 2. Alright, and on the top of the box you just have that same logo. And then on the bottom you can see the credits for the different people responsible for making this item. Now just like all the other ones, you do have this cool little Velcro piece, so you can open that up and see another really cool shot of the figure. This is actually a really good picture. It looks just like the movie. It's hard to not think that's not a movie still. But yeah, you can see all the accessories all highlighted in here, and the figure is clearly displayed in the window. Alright, so I've been looking forward to this one. I did get the T-800 version of this some time ago. And I also actually have the Sarah Connor version, so this kind of completes the set. Maybe we'll get John Connor eventually. Alright, so let's go ahead and take this out of the box and get a closer look. Alright, so as soon as you pull this out of the box, you can see the figure and accessories are in this nice clear tray. And most of these are all just kind of taped in here. And then there's actually one twisty tie holding in the actual T-1000. And then you do get this nifty little backdrop in case you want to do some kind of scene from the movie. It helps you with taking some pictures. This is a really cool accessory that's actually hidden on the underneath side of the tray. I almost missed it, but I already knew it come with this. There's actually a little like school photo of John Connor in here, and that is just so cool. Such a neat little added accessory. So make sure you don't throw away the packaging or miss this cool little surprise in the packaging. Okay, so here's the figure itself outside the packaging. Let's go ahead and get a nice close-up of the head sculpt. Alright, so taking a closer look at the head sculpt, this looks really good. It definitely looks just like the actor Robert Patrick that portrayed the T-1000. It's just really got his likeness down just right. He's got these aviator sunglasses, which of course are exactly what he wears in the movie. And he does have the motorcycle cop helmet. He's got this cool little logo at the top here. Now his face is a little shaded just because of the little visor over the helmet, so I have to kind of move this around to show you a clearer view of the face. He's got that little neck strap underneath here, so yeah, really good likeness. I think this is definitely my favorite of the head sculpts, just because this is the main the motorcycle version that I wanted, and I just really think it's just such a cool look, so I'm really happy with this. Now of course you do get some interchangeable heads, and I'll go ahead and show you how to change those out. Alright, so you do get a couple different interchangeable heads here. The first one's just going to be this Robert Patrick T-1000 head that has no helmet and no sunglasses. So pretty cool. Now if you notice with these different head sculpts, the neck is actually attached to them, which is much different from the more current NECA stuff, which just is basically when you pop the head off, you're left with a neck joint with a ball peg. Not the case with these figures, and it's mainly because they're the older versions, because they are reusing some of the same parts. So let's just go ahead and pop this head off. Just grab it as firmly as you can, and it pops off fairly simple. I actually like this system better, but of course the articulation isn't the best since the neck's attached. But yeah, you can go ahead and just push this on here, and then just push as hard as you can. And then the head will just attach on there. Alright, and here's the final head sculpt that you get with him, and it's basically just going to be the shotgun or grenade launcher blast to his face. believe it was a grenade launcher that he got shot with this. But yeah, his head is basically exploded and split in half. So pretty cool. I'm not really going to display him often with this head sculpt, but I think it is, you know, makes for some really cool pictures. You can see he looks, you know, pretty crazy from the side here. But yeah, pretty good detail on here. Now I'll say it's definitely my least favorite head sculpt. It is cool, it'll make for a good picture, but it is so hard to get this to stay on. I couldn't even get this to pop on real well, so I don't think I'm ever going to display him with this, other than for a quick picture. But it is cool that they included this head sculpt. And just looking at the rest of the figure, you can see he's got some really cool details going on here. I like how the actual police, you know, motorcycle cop jacket has these like different wrinkles, and you know, just the overall design looks really good, and it's pretty clean. I mean, he did kind of you know, manipulate pretty much clothing and everything else, so there'd be no reason for this to really look weathered or battle damaged. You can see the Los Angeles police logo on the side, and he's got this other like little badge in the front here, and then that same police badge on this side. Then there's another little logo underneath of it. And then down to the belt, it's really, really nicely detailed. He's got a couple little pockets on here. I love this you know, communicator or walkie-talkie he has. It's so well done. I really like the paint on here, you know, that metallic silver, and it's got this little antenna at the top, and it's even kind of thick like you would see, so I really like that. I think that was really well done. There's another little pocket here, and of course he does have his holster, which I'll put a gun in that a little bit later. But yeah, the actual belt looks so well done. I'm really happy with that. He's got like a stripe on his outfit, which does kind of continue up into the topper part here. But yeah, the stripe goes all the way down his leg on both sides. And then he's got the motorcycle boots on here. So yeah, really nicely detailed. Just overall, I'm very happy with how well they've executed the outfit. Alright, so in terms of articulation, it's pretty much what we would expect from NECA at this point, though this is just a little different because it's kind of a mix of older, you know, parts and modern articulation. So let's just go ahead and start with the head sculpt. You can move a little bit side to side, pretty good amount looking down, but really can't look up at all. It could be just the fact that he has this collar here, and also, like I went over already, the neck and the head are one sculpted piece, so there isn't any cut right here. The actual arms go out pretty far, get some decent movement there, and they do go down decently far as well. That's about as all they can go. Go forward and back. And then as far as the actual torso, you really don't have anything right here, no ab crunch or anything, but he can twist at the waist. And then the wrist can turn decently. They're a little tight, and there really isn't much up and down movement here. It might be just kind of locked a little bit, but yeah, I'm not getting too much there. There's a single hinge elbow joint, and then you can also go to the left and the right. The legs can do a decent split. They can go out about that far, and then there is a cut at the knee, just a single. So yeah, decent articulation of the legs. One of the biggest improvements, honestly, is the articulation at the lower part of the figure, as it really didn't have much before. And then there is also a little articulation at the bottom of the boot, and then I can go side to side just a little bit as well. So overall, pretty decent articulation, much better, you know, than the original release. So it's obviously big improvements on this articulation. Okay, and looking at the accessories, I've gone over this other head sculpt already, which is the liquid metal kind of split in half. But you also have this liquid metal blade, which is, you know, kind of forged out of his own body structure. So he does have one of these bladed arms. And then you have a handgun, a small machine gun. You also have some different hands over here. Both of these are just standard trigger fingers. You have one for the right hand, one for the left hand. And then you also have more bladed weapons, but they're just bladed fingers. And you have one for the right hand and one for the left hand. So you get a decent amount of accessories. Now, if you have the older T-1000 NECA figures, you should be able to, you know, kind of trade parts a little bit. So not everything in this Ultimate is all that was released. This is just all they packaged in this particular Ultimate figure. Now they actually did another T-1000 Ultimate that wasn't the motorcycle cop, and again, those parts should interchange with this figure. Okay, now attaching these hands is pretty simple to interchange. So I'm going to just do one of the right trigger fingers. Just going to grab the hand, just pull on it a little bit, pops right off, and you can see a little peg on here in the hole. And then you just take this gripping hand, and it should just pop in. You just want to twist it just a little bit. You can kind of feel it pop in there. So if you want to put the gun, like the handgun, you have the handgun gripping hand. Okay, now if you want to interchange the interchangeable arm, this is a really cool piece. One of the coolest things about this is you actually can use this for either the left arm or the right arm. So in this case, I'm going to use it for the right arm. And you're actually going to pop this off at the elbow. So it's a little tight on there, but you can see it's a little bit different type of peg. It's got more of a longer piece to it. So you're just going to pop this in here, and it's very similar to the the Ash vs. Evil Dead hero version. Same thing. So yeah, there you go. You have the arm blade, which is pretty neat. And I think he had these in some of the scenes where he's chasing, you know, T-800 and Sarah Connor, things like that. And there actually is a joint on here. Again, it's a little tight, but yeah, as soon as you loosen it up, it should work good. And it's just a single, you know, point, just standard like an elbow articulation on here. Okay, and here he is holding the little picture of John Connor, where he kind of questions one of his friends and asks him if he's seen this boy. So very cool. I like this little added extra in here. He seems to hold it pretty good in his hand, but you could probably put this picture in just about any hand. And he can easily hold two different guns, since he has two different kind of gripping hands. You can also use this one here for the picture hand. That's probably the best one for it. And then you could use this trigger finger. And the last different interchangeable hands you get is another set of like weapon hands. And this is the one with the finger that has like the blade on it. And I really like how they did this. You can see like a little bit of the skin tone here, and then it goes right into the liquid metal. So very cool in that. And then you could choose if you want to have it on the right hand or you want it on the left hand. And these will bend pretty easily. They're very thin, so you can easily straighten those out. But yeah, very cool. He uses this in, I know, a scene with Sarah Connor at the very end when he asked her to call to John. And so you can, you know, do some pretty cool photos with these. And if you don't want to have him hold the handgun, you can easily just holster that. He's got this really cool little holster on the side, and you could just kind of tuck this right into there. Now there's actually a little part where you can, you know, seal up the gun in here. It just has a little like peg here, and then there's a hole right there. So if you want to snap that closed, you can. It's a little tricky to do it. It's kind of tedious, so I wouldn't recommend it. But yeah, it's really cool when a different figure has weapon storage. That way you can kind of keep some of the accessories on him. Okay, so for the first comparison, here he is next to the Terminator 2 figures made by NECA Toys. Now this is the Ultimate T-800, and then this is the Ultimate Sarah Connor, and they all represent their appearances in Terminator 2. Very cool collection. I mean, they look great next to each other. The only thing we're missing here is John Connor. So hopefully NECA will give us a John Connor figure finally. Here he is next to the Terminator 1 Terminator figures, and of course this is the T-800 played by Arnold Schwarzenegger. And you can see the height's pretty good. He's just a little bit shorter than Arnold. And if you look at this older version, this is not the Ultimate. You can see the legs have no movement, and that's pretty much what this original T-1000 was. And here he is next to one of the red endoskeletons, and this is from the RoboCop vs. Terminator line. And here he is next to Jason Voorhees from the Friday the 13th remake. Here he is next to a couple taller NECA figures. This is the original Predator and then the original Big Chap Alien. And you can see there's a really good size difference, but they are all in the 7-inch scale. And here he is next to a 6-inch scale Marvel Legends. And you can definitely see there's a size difference here, as this is 7-inch scale, this is 6-inch scale. However, I have managed to use some of the weapons for Deadpool. You can see these Marvel Legends ones are pretty cheesy with no paint, so if you want to share weapons with Deadpool, you can. And for the last comparison, here he is next to one of the vintage Kenner Terminators, and you can see there's obviously a big difference in scale here. I believe the originals were 5-inch scale. Now this is the motorcycle made by Maisto, and it's in a 1/10 scale. It's a bit old now, but just to show you that he can sit on a motorcycle, so if you were able to get a police motorcycle for him, he should fit just fine. Alright, so that's my review. Overall, I'm really happy with this figure. The T-1000, you know, aside from Sarah Connor, is definitely the most formidable foe for the T-800 to go up against. So I'm really happy that they went ahead and released this again. I unfortunately missed out on the first release, but I did eventually own him just loose, incomplete, but it was a cool figure to have on the shelf. But now with all the added articulation, he's so much more than just, you know, a staction figure that's just kind of sitting there. I mean, the accessories are great. You have the interchangeable bladed weapon, the fingers that you get, the 2 different guns, 3 different head sculpts. So I mean, if you missed out on this figure, even if you just only own one version of this figure, I would highly recommend picking this up, especially for the price point. It's about $20 to $25. But yeah, the accessories are great. The only really added thing with this figure compared to the original is definitely the articulation, but it's not something to say lightly, because the original really had no articulation from the waist below. It barely moved. So it's nice to have T-1000 that's, you know, much more geared for dynamic posing. And you know, if you get a motorcycle for him, he'll actually sit on it. So very cool that they gave us some knee articulation there. The only gripe I have is that the hands really don't fit that great on all, like, not all the hands fit, I guess is what I'm saying. Particularly with the right hand, I've had some issues with the trigger finger. They just don't seem to fit quite as good as some of the other hands do. So you might have a little bit of difficulties there. So hopefully it's not too bad. But yeah, I'm not real fond of the hand swapping. I just feel like it doesn't work that well. Some of the pegs were possibly even bigger than others, or they just fit a lot tighter. So it kind of seems like it was not the best fit it could have been. So that's my only real complaint. But I'm still very happy with the figure. And like I said, if you're a Terminator fan and you definitely didn't pick up that original, you got to pick this one up. It's a great figure. Thanks for watching my review. Please subscribe, leave a comment or question if you have one, like the video, and there's a little slideshow at the end of this, so enjoy that. And until next time, guys, see ya.